Okay, in this video we're just going to have a look at how to install RFID Ikea locks, and this is called the ROTHULT lock, and it's really quite a simple thing to kind of set up and install, but I think people think that it's going to be quite complicated. But basically what you get with it, you'll get the lock itself, a couple of key cards, which are the master key cards, a little bag of screws, and then a mounting point as well for it. So essentially what I'm going to do is just show you how you can install it and how you can set up your own cards with it, as well as using the master lock. So what we'll do is just undo the bag of screws and we'll just run through some of these bits. So there's a variety of different bits that you might get in there. So the flathead screws that you get, if I can actually zoom on those, there we go. So you'll get different types of screws. So these flat-ended screws, they're the ones that you can use to screw the lock into the cabinet. So you'll know if the cabinet is can take the lock. So basically there's like compliant products that can use these RFID locks. Most of them are like metal cabinets and things like that. So this is an older one, but there's a lot of more modern Ikea cabinets that use these. So when you look at it, you just need to see that the lock is sort of facing outwards, and this screw should be accessible because this is where we put our batteries in for it. So you can see there's sort of 4 points on here, and all we do is just place that over the top, put one of the screws in, and then you can simply just screw that into the cabinet. Like I say, don't use the sharp-ended screws, you just want the flat screws because they're not actually going through anything, they're just going into the thread on the other side. So I'll do 2 screws on there, we don't need all 4 at the minute. So you can see there, that's all locked into place. And then the next thing we do, there's a secondary part of it which goes on the other side of the other side of the door, which you'll see, and essentially when the lock comes out it clicks, so it sort of can't go beyond that. So that's the other side of it. But what we'll do is on here, just take the back off of this, and as you're unscrewing this you can slide this out with it a little bit, but you need to go a little bit slow because sometimes the bottom of these just break. So and then you can see once that's come off, the bottom of it is for 3 AAA batteries. So you can just place those in. You'll need to place the one under this screw in first. So you just sort of slide that under the screw, and then you've got 1 in there, 2. And what you'll need to do with this, so this whole thing depends on these batteries. So from experience, using cheap batteries in there is a bad idea. Use good quality. I use rechargeable batteries in there. Ikea's got ones that they say, they're recommended ones, but I just use rechargeable Energizer ones. But basically use good quality batteries, because if you don't and they die, if the lock is on, it could get stuck switched on, which I've managed to get around before. But when this is running out, when the lock is running down, what will happen is it will make a beeping sound to tell you that the batteries are low, but it sort of relies on you having pretty good quality batteries in there that will get to a state where they can give you that warning. So don't put cheap batteries in. And you can see as we've screwed that in, that's registered that it's got batteries in it and it's working. Now what you can do at this point, I've got just a RFID card here, which is basically just a cheap one from AliExpress, which I'll leave a link to these. But basically what you can do, you can tap that on the front of the door and then it will register that. So this could be any RFID card that is compatible. So now this card has been registered with it, but also these are our MasterCards. So we've got 2 of those that come with it. You can see they work. Now the important thing here is that these cards are both MasterCards and they're interchangeable, so I can unlock it with this one, and then I can lock it with that one. But what I can't do is unlock it with this one, because this isn't a MasterCard, this is just the additional card. So what you need to do is put it into an unlock state, and then you can lock it with your card and you can unlock it with your card, but you can't you can't reverse the master lock with it. So if it's locked and you've lost this one, you can use the master lock to unlock that, but you can't sort of go vice versa. Oh, that should work. Right, again. There we go. Sometimes if you don't place the card fully over it, like that, or at an angle, sometimes it will make that beep and not work. So sometimes you just need to go flat, hold it against there, and it will work. And then, as I say, once that cupboard goes in and you hit the card on it, it's just going to lock into the catch, and that's it. And if you have sort of missed the point of being able to register a card, like you've already got one of these locks set up and you want to use your own card, it's never too late to do it. What you can just do is unscrew the batteries, and every time you do that, it does sort of like a soft reset on the lock. So the MasterCards always will work with it, but it will be in a state where it's ready to accept another card. So if you do want to add a new card to it, just take the battery pack out and then screw it back in again, and then you'll be ready to pair a new card with it. And as I say, for some of the other cabinets, like the if you've got the wooden ones, you might want to be using these different screw heads. For this one, like I say, because it's got pre-piloted holes in the metal, you just need to use the flat ones, and they just catch inside there, and that holds this lock in. And as I mentioned, we essentially just put this bracket in this side, and that's just done with the two small screws. You'll need a fairly decent screwdriver head to kind of drive these screws in. Again, if you're doing it into the wooden cabinets, it can actually be slightly easier, because these metal ones can be sometimes a little bit difficult to drive these ones into, but it's a fairly simple job, to be honest. Once they go in, they do tend to work. You just need a fairly decent screwdriver, otherwise you can't catch the heads of the screws. And then once that's in, you can see that we've got a base for our plate to catch on, and then we can shut the door, use our card, and then that's it, that's locked. So our RFID card lock is working, and that's it really. So yeah, hopefully you found this helpful. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments, and if you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe.